in, but in some cases, not the entire council can be at the meetings, even though they represent their district. Like tonight, Councilman Barrera is hosting it. But we do give that report to the full council so they can see across the city what's the community saying about the budget. So you're going to be heard tonight, and you'll be heard again indirectly through this report that will provide City Council. One thing we look for is where is there consensus amongst the residents that speak? Where is there repeat statements? Because we're here to see what do we do in terms of changing the budget. And so every year we have made a commitment to the community that your voice matters, it has an impact on the budget. And that's reflective of, between the proposed and the adopted, several things get included that the community asks us for. And so in some years, we've added more library services, more hours. We've added park amenities. Last year, because of a District 2 meeting that you were at last night, we added more art funding in our art program. So your voice does matter. We're looking for consensus. That's why we provide that report. And then finally, not only can you speak at these meetings, and there's 2 more next week, but you can come to City Council. We have 2 public hearings on the budget at City Council. I think around the noon time or an established time, so you even have more chances to speak to us. As we said last night, and as I consistently say, our form of government, our operation, one of the cornerstones is being transparent, being open to the community, listening to the community. So that's why we're here tonight. This is consistent with our practice of engaging the community and making sure you know what we're doing, you have access to what we're doing, and you can see and hear what we're doing. So I promised to show the video, but we had a very important person walk in before I concluded my remarks, and that would be Mayor Paulette Guajardo, who's right. So we want her to come up and say a few words, and she's made a pledge last night to attend every one of these. She was back there talking to our Animal Care Services Director, so one of our top subjects, right?
Yes, yes, it is.
Yes, I'm going to turn the mic over to you.
Okay.
Yes,
well,
yes. Good
afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you so much. It's great to be here. And so this is our 3rd workshop. And what is so important and special about these workshops, which many of you care so much about, is that you're heard, that you are heard. And I like to say this is not the only way that you can be heard, because not everyone can come here at this time. You can be heard by reaching out to your district councilman, 3 at-large, 1 mayor, 1 city manager. We're here to know. We want to know what's important to you. How do you think your tax dollars should be spent? This is about transparency. This is about a process that is now in place the last 4 years because of Peter Zanoni. Because it is about you. Our service to you has to do with your voice. And it does. And it doesn't mean what you say today is going to be written down and then put in the budget, but it means you're part of the process. It means it will be considered. So it's important to us, and that's why I'm here. This is the 3rd one. It's very important. And again, we hope that your friends and family understand that it isn't only through this process that you're heard. You can email, you can call us, you can come down to public comment, which is extremely important, and that's at noon during our council meetings, or catch us wherever. But the importance is that this process involves you. So thank you for taking the time. It means a whole lot. I know a lot of you everybody has something to do, so we truly appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Okay, so with that, what we're going to do is show our video then here, and then I'll be back just to give you one more comment, and then we'll start listening to what you have to say. And we're, by the way, going to go to our soccer coach over here because she wanted to speak last night, but we ran out of time. So we're going to go to you first. Yes.
Corpus Christi is benefiting from a fast-growing economy, flourishing neighborhoods, and a high quality of life for residents. As the 8th largest Texas city, we're making tremendous progress toward the future.
This budget continues to reverse decades of neglect by investing in our streets, our water and wastewater infrastructure, in our parks, in our libraries, and in our animal care services. We have made tremendous improvement in moving Corpus Christi forward.
Our city government is financially well managed, reflected by the city's strong financial profile, economic growth, and quality professional management.
This is wonderful news for the citizens of Corpus Christi. This means that we will be paying lower interest rates over the life of the bonds, which will save the city and the citizens millions of dollars.
A $1.5 billion budget is proposed for fiscal year 2024, keeping our momentum moving forward. The city is a large organization with 29 lines of business that is supported by over 4,000 employees that combine to provide a high-quality level of service. This year's budget will continue to prioritize core services for our residents. $122 million will be invested to continue road construction and maintenance, particularly in our neighborhoods. $22 million will be allocated for residential street reconstruction, $46 million to general street maintenance, and $54 million toward arterials and collectors. After a review of our ongoing objective of paving more streets, a new approach has been developed to make an immediate and long-term impact.
We have a little over 1,200 centerline miles of streets to maintain at the city. To address fixing those streets a little bit more efficiently, we're going to use the payment-only approach. We're going to fix roads 5 times faster, and what would have taken us 60 years to complete will only take us about 12.
$105.7 million will go to the police department and $80 million to our fire department to provide the support they need to serve and protect our growing community.
We have 9 additional officers proposed, monies for remodeling and maintaining our buildings. We have monies for additional patrol cars, funding for a new position for our police athletic league, and this services 3,000 at-risk youth every year with sports. We have monies to help with our new academy. It's just an exciting year. Public safety is a comprehensive thing. It's reaching out and interacting with the community, and it takes lots of resources to do that.
Currently, the Corpus Christi Fire Department is fully staffed with all of our personnel, which helps us provide the highest level of service to this community. We're looking to add 9 new positions. These 9 positions will help us advance towards our goal of 4-person staffing on all of our fire trucks. We're also looking to add to our fleet 3 brand new ambulances, also a brand new fire truck to improve the health of our fleet. All of this helps us advance the mission of the Corpus Christi Fire Department in providing the highest level of service of both fire and EMS to the community.
Enhanced quality of life is vital to our community, and our parks provide an essential connection for people of all ages and abilities to experience the benefits of nature and the outdoors. $14.6 million will go toward park development, as well as $14 million for revitalizing the 4 Northside community parks. By adding amenities to these recreational areas, these parks will honor the area's legacy for generations to come. We are building a park master plan, activating more park space, and adding amenities such as splash pads, playground equipment, shade structures, and barbecue pits to provide a more enjoyable experience. Several capital improvement projects are in development to create unique opportunities for residents and visitors. $1.4 million will fund operations and maintenance for each of these quality of life facilities. By building an aquatic center at Bill Witt Park, revitalizing our iconic water garden, adding amenities to our celebrated Cole Park, and developing our North Beach area, our city offers an active and healthy lifestyle for all residents to live, learn, and play. We are creating better health outcomes, improving healthcare customer service, and engaging our community partners for a healthier Corpus Christi. $1.2 million will provide more wellness opportunities for developing a fitness program, replacing exercise equipment at senior centers, and offering life safety skills such as free swimming lessons.
These priorities align with our public health district's mission to prevent, promote, and protect.
This budget will not only provide exceptional service for residents, but for $771,000 will go to the Animal Care Services Department to provide additional leadership and staffing, and an operational review of the department to continue to lead with care and compassion. These efforts will continue to make Corpus Christi a place people want to live, work, and visit. Over $4 million will be invested in coastal sustainability initiatives. Protecting our unique way of life and our natural assets is essential to the prosperity of our community.
This budget invests in more street sweeping and stormwater channel maintenance. It invests in more trees to improve our air quality and a composting program diverting tons of material from our landfill. With these investments, we are advancing our sustainability and coastal resiliency initiatives.
By taking care of our environment, offering leisure activities, and developing more local businesses, Corpus Christi is planning for more economic growth. And nothing highlights those endeavors more than the expansion of our convention center.
Our American Bank Center is an economic driver for our city and for the region. Plans are underway to renovate, expand, and add a convention to fully fund our destination management organization, Visit Corpus Christi.
This proposed budget includes property tax relief for residents. Thanks to the 88th Texas legislative session, the new school property tax rates would save average homeowners approximately $900 in taxes. It also increases homestead exemptions and provides local options for even greater property tax relief beginning in fiscal year 2025. For the first time, the budget recommends rate equity in our water and wastewater cost of service across all customer classifications and recommends a renewed street user fee with no rate adjustment. This will keep our water flowing and our infrastructure growing. To better protect and plan our future utility needs, there will be minor rate adjustments for residential customers for water, wastewater, stormwater, and solid waste. This will maintain sustainable growth and decrease flooding. The $1.5 billion fiscal year 2024 proposed budget is scheduled to be adopted by the Mayor and City Council on September 5th and would take effect on October 1st, 2023. The City of Corpus Christi remains committed to being a safe community and improving the quality of life for all residents. We are implementing a plan for success and progressing toward a better tomorrow for all. Fiscal year 2024 proposed budget items. Visit cctexas.com/budget 2024.
So our Facebook friends can see it. So a lot of materials online, so we encourage you, you don't have to, but we encourage you, if you want to get more information on the budget, go to our website, the budget document, our PowerPoints, the video, and other materials there, and we'll continue to place material as we have workshops with the City Council. Now, two other quick things. I do want to acknowledge a lot of our department heads are here from some of the major departments, as well as some of our leadership team members. Constance Sanchez, our Chief Financial Officer, has gone to every one of these. We know that public safety is critical. Our police chief and fire chief are both here. We want to give them a round of applause if we could, please. Right. They take care of us around the clock. We appreciate them and their team members. And then thank you for the department heads that are here as well. They're here to listen, and if there's some extreme situations, we can work directly with them tonight. So one final note, and then we're gonna turn it over to the soccer mom over here, which is, yeah, all right. Got down, the soccer leader. Last night in the last two meetings, we didn't talk about time constraints and how long you can speak, but we did run over last night. We want to keep this to about 7 o'clock because we're mindful of school and people have things to do outside of here. The meeting is from 6 to 7, so just be mindful when you do present to try to be as brief as you can so that we can be courteous of others that want to be able to speak this evening. Okay, so with that, we're going to turn it over to Miss, is it Sanchez? Torres, Miss Torres. Hey, yeah, Miss, yeah, okay, here we go. Yes, Miss Torres, sure. Thank you. And you're more than welcome to come up here and face the camera if you'd like for the audience to hear you, Ms. Torres.
It is? Hello? Oh. I'm Dylan Torres. I actually live in District 2. And so just to touch base real quick on a couple of things that I wanted to speak about with regards to District 2, if I may. And it's more of a validation that these meetings do count, your emails and your telephone calls count. The block I live on was not included in a street project. It was the next block up. And when that first came out, I sent emails along with the neighbors going, hey, what about this block? You know, we're the dead end of the cut through on Lansdowne from Galahar and Alameda, close to King High School. And you name every truck in town and we've seen it. So the street showed it. Well, all those emails helped. We got the street refurbished. Then we had to send a couple more emails because the drainage suddenly wasn't really very good because it went up instead of down to drain off. So half the street, or about a third of it actually, was flooding when we did have some rain several months back. Guess what? They're out there right now fixing that up, correcting the drainage issue. So thank you for listening, and thank you to all those in that neighborhood who spoke up. Another item is kudos to the fire department. Personally experienced the fire department, and thank you so much. Please make sure they're always included in the budget, because until you actually experience the need, you don't realize how truly important it is. Now, with regards to additional items, and that's in District 3, McGee Beach is part of where we hosted our 18th annual soccer tournament on the beach. We had 171 teams from all across the state of Texas, and only approximately 12 of them were from Corpus Christi. So they were all from out of town. Now, the reason why I bring that up is not only obviously all those dollars that added to the coffers for the community and the experience of people coming here from Odessa, Dallas, Fort Worth, Midland, Del Rio. They don't have a beach, so they're here to enjoy the beach. But the beach is eroding. It is much narrower than it was 15 years ago. So the funds that are in the budget are also needed at McGee Beach. I know they're doing a Gulf Beach survey to figure out how it's eroding and what can be done about it, but please, we need to include McGee Beach as well. We're hoping to have another tournament into January, 1st of February. Then there was another company that contacted us just recently wanting to have volley soccer. So that's something new and different we'll look into. But not only that, Texas A&M University puts on a huge beach volleyball tournament every year down there at McGee Beach. So please keep that in mind. Next, Express Soccer, that I'm president of and have been working soccer for over 40 years. So I'm actually a soccer grandma more than I am a soccer mom. They asked me when I'm going to retire because I have been doing it for over 40 years, volunteering, and I said, well, so far we're okay because we have that beautiful walking path at Salinas and really nice sidewalks, so that walker will do just fine when I'm out there. They haven't gotten rid of me yet. But just want to remind everyone, last year I was here, which is great, which is right behind Salinas, but just want to remind everyone about the original plan for Salinas Park. And it included a longer parking lot, which we need to have installed, because when it gets packed, it gets packed. And that can be even on a weekday evening with just practice alone. Just earlier today, I think a lot of people need to talk about the budget. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I understand. We love you. But yes, I understand. And the lighting, we do need additional lighting. There is no lighting on any of the athletic fields. So keep us in mind on that as well. Thank you so much. I just wanted to make sure I include District 3 along with District 2.
Thanks, Ms. Torres. Gentleman in the back?
Hello, my name is Eric Tasby. Please bear with me. Public speaking is not my forte. I just wanted to make a comment that I do support the budget, and thank y'all for having these meetings. I really appreciate it.
They were intended that way when that subdivision was made, and other subdivisions have the same problems. So if y'all could look at that, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So our Public Works Director, Ernesto De La Garza, back there in the blue. Sir? Yes, sir. Our Public Works Director, if you want to talk to him a little bit more later, Ernesto De La Garza. He's new to the team, but doing a great job and understands pavement management. Let me just say that he has recommended an alley program. So it's not in this budget, but the money's there so that next year we'll begin to do those alleys. Right. Right. Yeah. Well, we're telling you tonight, it will be in there's 1.5 million in the budget. We have to do a payment condition study this year with that, but that'll be recurring monies, and then for the next 2 years, that'll go to alleys. So we'll get your street and your alley. Ernesto's here, we hear you. Good, yes, sir, thank you for the comments. Okay, who else, okay, yes.
Hi. I've already spoken on this, and I'm planning to speak on it at least on Wednesday, maybe Monday, depending on how tired I am from work. But I and a lot of like-minded folks have been campaigning for a low-barrier shelter, paid for at least by homeless services, which is currently, I have to check the figures, but last year at least was receiving less money than animal services. For a quick debrief, a low-barrier shelter would be specifically a city-run shelter that would have a lower barrier to entry than private shelters, because private shelters will turn away folks who have pets, turn away families depending on how they're set up, and it'll turn away folks who are struggling with drug addictions. Now, the bringing up drug addictions might have made some of y'all nervous, but that doesn't mean there wouldn't be rules in this shelter, of course. People would just have the ability to get clean in a nice private room instead of out on the street. The low barrier shelter is something that I am passionate about and is a big thing that I think the city needs to do to actually uphold its various promises to address the homeless issue. There's also small things that we can do, like the disassembly of the hostile architecture at the bus stops. I'll even do it myself if you give me a map of where all those bus stops are in the right socket wrench. I'll do it for free. I know these things take a lot of time, but I think the main thing I want to impress on everyone here is that all this work becomes a lot easier to both plan and to carry out when you think of homeless folks as people, just regular people who got unlucky, who missed a couple paychecks, got hurt in a way that didn't get them workers' comp, and now they don't have a bed to sleep in. They don't have reliable sources of food, of water, of showers, of shade. They can't even take a nap on a bench. Have you ever had a bad day where as soon as you got home, you just ran into your room, you slammed the door, and you started crying and screaming and throwing things because it was just so awful you had to let everything out? When you have a home, you get to have those moments in private. You get to scream and cry as much as you need without anyone looking at you, without strangers coming up to you, without the cops being called on you because you were being too loud close to a place of business. You get to lay around in the shade, not do anything, just sort of hang around without worrying that you're going to be arrested for loitering. So, to reiterate, while there's a lot of things that the city can do, I think a good start is a low barrier shelter, and specifically run by the city, because while private charities do lots of good work, of course, they are ultimately private. They are not accountable to the cities they set up in. Charities can, should they or their board so decide, just pack up and leave, and there's not a lot you can do about it. While a city-run shelter is going to be here forever.
Thank you. Okay, do we have anyone else that wants to share any comments? Okay, yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm not really prepared for this. I've been here in Corpus about 2 years, 2.5. The downtown area is gorgeous, thanks to the Parks and Rec guys that are out there cleaning it up all the time. I see them every morning. They just do an incredible job. They're in downtown. Recently, doing some social listening online, I discovered the Molina subdivision, and in part because Selena was there. And for some reason, now I almost want to cry. I was just kind of sad that we have so many people that are going out there to see the subdivision. I went to Selena's museum twice last week, once on a Monday morning and then once on a Friday afternoon. There were so many people there. They were parked across the road. We had to wait outside to even get in. There was people standing in line. I mean, they did a great job moving us through. They had, on Friday, constables that had to be out there to help people across the road. I met people from Mexico. I met people from out of town that came. I mean, it was very touching, but some of the people, that was their only stop in Corpus, was to go to that area. And so I'm just kind of curious. I haven't had a chance to read the budget, but hopefully there's things in place that will take care of some of the dilapidated houses that, like I said, I was going to cry, that it was just really sad in that subdivision. And the people out there, they're working hard. I went and looked at some houses that are for sale, that have been fixed up nice, and people are driving into their house. They've got their daughter standing there with a gate. They lock it back immediately to feel safe. The house that I was looking at, they had it locked at the gate. And so I started driving around, and I mean, there's something going on out there that people don't feel safe, that they're having to lock a fence at their gate. And this is, people are driving in, and it's on YouTube and online. Like, so that's how I found out. So I decided to drive out there and just look. And so hopefully something's in the budget, and like I said, I haven't had a chance to read it, that's really looking out for this neighborhood, because that is a reflection of Corpus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Lady.
Thank you. Yes. I'm Patty Jones, and I'm a resident in District 3. I completely support the sustainability initiatives that are proposed. I think it's very forward-thinking. I especially like the tree canopy study and the tree planting program. I think a lot of people can get behind trees. I also support the stormwater channel management, especially when we have a storm on the way, we really want something like that. Then on the a water rate increase, I support increasing the water rate on industry rather than residents. It's my understanding that as residents, we pay $5.08 per 1,000 gallons of water, while industry pays $1.95 per 1,000 gallons of water. Now, a lot of our residents are elderly, retired, on fixed income. A lot of our residents are at or near the poverty level. We are a Title I school district. That means our residents are not wealthy by any means. Industry is the larger user of water. I would say that industry is doing quite well financially. I think they can afford to pay more. So I really hope that our city will consider this before you give us a rate increase as residents. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those comments. We did recommend in the budget a more equitable rate structure, so you know, taking that $1.95 to $4.02, I think is what it is, Murphy? Over $4, so, right. That's a recommendation, so we have to work through the process, though, yes. Okay, yes, ma'am?
I'm Lamar Childress. I'm going to keep this short. I endorse everything that Patty Jones just mentioned to keep this brief. And I especially talk about the water. We don't need to have residents paying for that. I'm with climate change. We need to keep on top of that because it's before us for our young generation ahead of us. And one little pet peeve I'm going to add to this beautiful city of Corpus Christi. What is your name? City of Corpus Christi. All right, we have the tendency to say, oh, I'm from Corpus. And we need to work on that because we are, in fact, Corpus Christi, not Corpus. And we have San Antonio that's not too far from us, and we don't dare call San Antonio, oh, I'm going to San. Or we have Fort Worth, and we don't dare say, well, I'm going to Fort. We call them by their names. And we are one of the only cities in the entire world that's called Corpus Christi, Latin for Body of Christ. So that's just my pet peeve. Yeah. Everything else, I'm with you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We share that pet peeve.
Yes, ma'am.
We obviously want you to get exercise.
Yes.
I have actually my first question or comment is, why do our utility bills go to San Antonio?
So we pay an outside group to send the bills out, to compile the data and send them. That's where they're located. We don't perform it in-house. It's more cost-effective to the ratepayer to source that out.
But we live here.
We do.
I'm interested in jobs in Corpus Christi, not
yeah.
San Antonio. So
okay, thank you.
Just a comment on that. Well, we're talking about water rates. I'm curious how much money we've already spent on the proposed desal. And if the desal comes to fruition, I understand there's contracts, you have to use everything that you get. I'm very concerned about the financial impacts of desalinization on our community. I think it's going to be, has the potential to be very harmful to our budget in the future. And do you know how much we spent so far on the investigation?
I would say like 3 to 4 million probably. Yeah,
about
4 million, about 4 million so far.
Okay, and right now we're planning to take water out of the bay and then dump it back into the bay?
We're looking at several water alternative sources, so, right.
Yeah. They all concern me, and I hope everybody here is keeping up with them, because I am not a water expert, but I know that. The pavement. What's the pavement-only approach? What does that mean?
Right, so that means, so today, because you heard the gentleman talk about the curbs are rolled from poor design standards that we recently changed, we made it more stronger. But what we've been doing in the past couple of years is going in and redoing the entire street, the curbs, the sidewalks, and then we said, oh, we might as well fix the wastewater lines while we're there. That is only letting us do about 4 to 5 miles a year. And we have, if we followed that approach, it would take us 60 years to pave all the neighborhood streets. Yes, ma'am, 60 years. That's Ernesto Delgado, who's a pavement management expert, our public works director, has told us that based on what we see so far. So what we want to do is at least fix the streets so that we can drive on them, so that when we have to get heavy trucks into them to fix things like sidewalks and signs, we can drive on them. So the pavement-only approach is doing a deep milling, taking off the, about 2 inches or greater of the surface of the street, coming in and putting a brand new street on top of it. If the curbs are extremely deteriorated, extremely rolled, we'll fix them while we're there, but if there's some cosmetic things, we won't address those so that we can right now get as much pavement done across the city as we can. By doing that pavement-only approach, we can fix all these neighborhood streets that are real bad within about 12 years instead of 60.
Okay.
It's a big cost savings to the taxpayer as well because of that approach. So the goal is, we know it, we hear it, and we piloted it before we did it citywide, which is we need to be able to drive on the road. We can't. And so the approach we're doing today is too slow. And it's taking a subdivision with, say, there's 20 streets. If we fix one today, 19 is still in terrible shape. The goal is fix all 20 while we're there, come back later and do the more extensive concrete work if there has to be some done.
So it's the infrastructure that we're kind of underneath
Right.
streets that we're kind of.
We'll leave it for now because we can't drive. So if you're in a neighborhood with one street fixed, that doesn't help you if you have to cross 4 others to get out, so
I can
that's the
appreciate
approach.
that,
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
I
And it's really a Corpus Christi phenomenon, and part of we've changed it already. It's just a legacy of poor design standards, where the rolled curbs, as an example, is because the compaction wasn't required to be a certain compaction.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just going to bring up my other things real quickly here. I'm glad we're talking about the homeless people, because I wish somehow there were a way to get bathrooms for them. I can't imagine what it'd be like to come here to Corpus Christi to have the problems that many of them have, and then to find yourself where you're not welcome in public bathrooms, you're not welcome in restaurants. It's not up to the restaurant owners. You can go to the library, and that's about it. Okay, now here's my next question. Is the American Bank Center or the beaches or the Selena Auditorium the biggest draw here in town? Which one is it, do you think?
I think the beach, well, it's probably, I don't know the exact answer, but I'm gonna do an educated guess, which is beaches.
Yeah.
Beaches is a main driver, not only the Gulf facing beaches, but our bay facing beaches as well.
Yeah.
North Beach, our McGee Beach. The Lexington and the Texas State Aquarium are two big economic and tourism drivers. The American Bank Center is, however, as we told the City Council, because we haven't invested fast enough, we're losing conventions that would make this a recurring place even. And so we're losing in that business. So unless we continue to reinvest in our all's asset, which is that convention center, arena, and Selena Auditorium, we're going to really be at a loss from a financial standpoint for the taxpayer. So we're trying to bring that back to bring more tourism to it.
I'm concerned when I heard about the hotel. I don't know what hotel occupancy rates are downtown. There may be a need, but I want to go into some other issues right now.
Great. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ABC in the past had a problem where all their bills weren't paid. They were behind on their electric bills. Are all the utilities up to date now?
That was for, what did you say? American Bank? I believe so, yes.
I understand that 50% of the air conditioners are out and have been out for a while. That was on a...
Oh, at the American Bank Center?
Yeah.
That's an accurate statement, yeah. So the chillers date back to the 1950s. In the convention center part, only one of the 3 is not operable. And so part of the restoration plan is getting the chillers fixed.
My personal concern is I don't know that it's worth putting good money after bad. I'm thinking of Selena's, of people who come down here to see Selena, who's pointed out. And I don't know who goes to American Bank Center except we go there. We locals go there because we want to see things, but we're not bringing in outside money. We're bringing in I think our own money for the most part. Okay, one more thing.
Okay.
We have a history in the water garden, we have a history of problems with that water garden. And in times of drought, it seems kind of foolish because we can't use salt water. And I wonder if we could put in something that didn't involve water. I hate to call it the water gardens without water, but there's been a problem with water gardens since I've been here, just about. And I'm sorry, my name's Lois Hoff. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad this is hosted, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me just say the water garden has been approved to be restored, and so it hasn't ran since Harvey, I guess, which would be 6, 7 years or so. However, the example I want you to use to know that when we do it nowadays, we do it right, is that water feature by the American Bank Center, and that also was broken from Harvey. We repaired it, and it's been running ever since, with the exception of 2 times. One was to put a new chlorinator in. That was down for a few days. The other one was for another electrical piece that we had to put in. Otherwise, it's running, and the families across the city are really enjoying it. So that's the model that we're moving to in our city, which is we maintain our assets, we keep quality life amenities running, we care about them. So thank you for your comments.
Hello, my name is Ruth Lutta, and I agree with the lady in green, no more water hikes. And one simple question. Last year we had a 12 million water surplus, water budget surplus. Why are you still collecting money?
I'm not sure about that surplus, but the city does a 2-year rate adjustment, and we haven't adjusted the rates in 2 years, but in the last 2 years, we know we've had runaway inflation. Our costs for chemicals to treat our water have doubled in some cases. Our cost for equipment is up. Our cost for capital investment at the water treatment plant, the water lines in the ground, all those expenses are up. So we're mindful of being prudent with the rate dollars.
So you're not familiar with the surplus in the water budget?
No, there's no surplus. So
I'll send you the
right
email.
in this budget,
I'll
though,
send it to
right in this
the
budget.
mayor. I'll send it to Mr. Barrera.
Okay. Yeah, there is no surplus. The water utility runs. It does have a fund balance, which it should in case there's a catastrophic event. But we're mindful of the rate adjustment for the residential customer that uses about 6,000 gallons of water. The rate recommended increase is $1.82, I think, $1.82 a month. So put that over perspective. That's since 2 years ago. So, but one thing we did recommend in this budget, and we're going to work with City Council on it, is rate equity, where some of the large volume users will pay a more equitable share. That means you don't have to pay $6 more per month.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Right. Yeah, it's a good question. So not much. In fact, it's gone down, and we'll be showing that to City Council. No, the industry's gone down. Yeah, instead of going, staying the same or going up, it was actually reduced. Right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Samuels, yes, sir. Just we know you're not going to talk for 10 minutes.
It's going to be.
But I just want to remind the audience, we have about 10 minutes left before we'll, yes, sir.
Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for taking the opportunity for us to do this. Just a quick background of who I am so you have an idea. 30 years in the military, retired as a colonel. So I've been around different countries. I've seen war. I've seen that type of things. And the one thing I can tell you is that this concept, and I appreciate your comment that you made about Corpus Christi, the body of Christ. And that is something that I hold dear to because of the fact of my religious understanding and my religious and my belief in a creator God. So given that, climate change is real, but it's summer, fall, winter, spring, and it can be different. It can be drastic at times. In the mid-70s in South Carolina, where I grew up, there was a massive snowfall over 3 feet, was not normal. When I was in Germany and deployed in Iraq, there was a heat that took place in 2003 in the summer. A lot of Germans died. They don't have air conditioning in their homes. That's another thing. However, in 2010, there was record snowfall. So much snowfall, all the cities ran out of salt within a month. So what does that mean? It's weather patterns. There's nothing that human beings are going to do that's going to stop the climate. It's going to change the climate. Volcanoes do more to the climate changing than anything else. If one eruption, it can cool the weather for months. And with one eruption, it can make extreme heat. So given that, there's a lot of community members are galvanized against the sustainability department or any concept of sustainability and things of that nature. It makes sense. I had the pleasure of talking to Mr. De La Garza telephonically and talked to him about some city streets in the neighborhoods that we have. And I appreciate that, sir, and thank you for being here. I'm glad to get to see you face to face. City infrastructure makes sense. Cleaning out drains, ditches makes sense. Hardening our infrastructure makes a lot of sense. We know that a couple of years ago we had a freeze. What happened? People were out of heat for weeks because the infrastructure was not there. So what is that saying? We're talking about the Inflation Reduction Act. It does nothing to reduce inflation. All it does is push green energy, so-called green energy, and unreliable energy. That's all it does. Electric vehicles do more damage. The batteries, to get the minerals for those batteries, do more damage to the earth than fossil fuels do. So with that in mind, I believe what we should be doing is focusing on our infrastructure, that the infrastructure, that $4.84 million that we're looking to put towards sustainability should be put to harden our infrastructure, and we should let the departments that have an understanding of the city and how it functions handle and have oversight for those things. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Samuels. Yes, yeah, Rachel, we're going to have Rachel speak. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I just have one suggestion.
Sure.
Considering that we do have a nice chunk of industry here that occupies our space and is taking our water and polluting our air, I think, just a suggestion for council and you guys, on the next industrial service agreement, I think that the community should get at least some kind of a fuel discount from whatever Valero, whoever's supplying our fuel here. I think that's a good idea. If you're a resident, you can prove it on your driver's license, then you should get a fuel discount. Because they don't want to pay for anything else, so maybe we give that a go.
All right, good, thank you. We know those gas prices are climbing, yes. Right. Okay, great, well, okay, yes, sir. It doesn't sound like it.
So you can be heard on Facebook.
Okay, yeah, well, I'll give you mine. We want you to be heard on Facebook.
Mine is
Yeah.
real quick.
Okay,
Mine's
yes, sir,
real quick.
go ahead.
I wanted to ask you, on the $100 million increase in the budget, do you have a breakout? Did you break it out in a pie chart on where the money's going to go? Like increased fuel costs is costing the city, paper goods, labor force. Did you break out the $100 million, the use of that? Yes, sir. Do you have one specifically that we could just, I mean, do you have a page number from page 1 to 600? Where it's at?
We'll put one online. We might not have it right
Yeah, 'cause I think that gives a better understanding where the increase is justifiable or noted, right, for people to either accept, criticize, or have comments to.
Yeah, that's a good point. We talked to the council about that today. Some of that, by the way, just so you know, is in our capital budget, our infrastructure investment. It's in our water, wastewater systems, and some of that infrastructure. So it's not all direct services.
Correct.
The increase, some of it's in our water, wastewater, and other infrastructure.
Just a quick one, part two. Did you ask each department to go back and look for any pork that's left on the bone to kind of cut back some of the departments?
do, yeah.
Kinda help, you know what I mean? Because that was
Yeah.
tradition for the last 5 or 7 mayors that I've been around.
Well, we
They
did-
always asked for the departments to look for cutbacks where necessary.
Right.
Or overlaps or duplication of jobs.
Right, yeah, we did that. This budget recommends, there's probably several million in reductions where we have either business processes or what we do today is outdated, and we've recommended several to the city council. But just to let you know that in my 4 going on 5 years here, we're constantly looking at how do we save taxpayer dollars. We're getting better pricing on our contracts when we buy commodities or chemicals. We're eliminating ways of doing business that are inefficient. When I interviewed here, I had that phrase that we hear where we're going to cut waste. So I used it in my interview. I shouldn't tell these guys because they were here. But I just use it because it's a good thing to use. But on day one, I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of waste to be cut here. So we've been doing that for 4.5 years, and we continue to do it. Yes, sir.
And thirdly, I know that you're on YouTube and you have your own social media, which is great for the city.
Right.
I think finding more opportunities to come out to the public and share with us, like on radio, would be a great idea to help put the word out, because people see your this is what they say, and I'll end it with this. They see your $100 million increase as something mysterious. They want more money. They want to see a pie chart. Where's my money going to? Well, how do you justify us that are not getting raises or on fixed income, like Social Security, to give out that extra $50 a month that could pay for medicine? So people ask for that, and I'm sure the mayor, you should know this. I think the lady said it very eloquently. We do live in a community that doesn't have a high level. At the medium poverty level, there's just, I think the majority of the community lives at that level, like 40, 50%. So every nickel and dollar to them is very important.
Right.
And I know that you take that into consideration, but they'd like to see where it's going, and I'd have this mystery gossip going on. Well, $100 million is going to be increased. Well, where's it going? Well, we don't know.
Yeah, okay, that's a
And
good suggestion.
And you get a lot of blowback for that, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yes, and we're on the radio. We'll go on your show. The mayor was on one of the radio shows this morning.
We heard her.
Okay.
Good job.
So,
Yeah,
okay,
we've already
good.
talked
Okay.
as well.
Good, thank you.
All right,
Good talking
thank
to
you.
tonight.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, yes, ma'am. Okay.
So typically in most organizations, when you have budget allocation, like he was saying, is you have your pie graphs, but more importantly is how do you link that up to actually what you did with the money, right? You say you want 1.5 for this, 4.4 for this, so on and so forth. But in the end, after the 2-year scope of the budget, did you actually use the money that you asked for that particular allocation, for that particular item, or did you use it for something else? The other thing is certificate of obligations. You're using a lot of that instead of bond measures and explaining to us why are you making that determination, because that's not a determination that you actually should be making on our behalf, right? So you put it to bond measure, we vote it. A certificate of obligation is really for an emergency measure, and you're using a lot of our money to do that, and that's a little bit problematic for me, especially when that is going to affect us in the future. So if there's a way for you to really, you know, she talked about a surplus. Well, if there's no surplus, I'm not sure why she would believe that, right? So really getting clear on that, and I don't know, I think your page, it was 432 pages. Yeah, I think that's kind of a bit much, right? That's
That's why we do have some summary documents.
I got it,
Yeah.
but in reality, right, you're giving that to people to read, and that's really great that it's a summary, but I don't know about anybody else, but you could feel like you're burying a lot of things in there. So just for, like, I really appreciated, the first thing you said was transparency, so let's be transparent, because we don't need that many pages in a budget, right?
Okay, good.
So
Good
I really
suggestion.
appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks so much. Thanks for being here. Did we have a question back here, somebody said? Oh, Eddie, yes, sir. This is our budget director. Yes, sir.
70 million is capital projects.
Okay, so we're going to get that.
We're going to get we'll put the rest of the information out online next week, but.
Okay, 70 of the 100 millions from the capital projects, including water, wastewater, airport. So, but we'll get that detail to the community.
Or they can look at the capital budget, which is 400 and something pages.
Right, but we do have some nice graphs in there, some pictures. Yeah, so. And a few pictures, right? Yeah, right, yeah. Okay. I know, right. We're just going to hear from Ms. Padron real quick. Just one final person, yes.
Yeah, I'm Robin Perona, and I live in District 4. And in my elder years, I've gotten to be a YouTube junkie, and I watch the budget meetings, and I've watched the city council meetings, and sometimes in the late evening. I don't watch much television. And a lot of the information that we have in this room is been presented publicly. Like I even watched the water briefing. Yeah, when you were talking about how you were going to do it. So I'm just so excited about the degree of information there is that's available in my spare time. Whenever I want to, I can find a lot of things out about what's going on in the city, and it's good. And it's very exciting. I've lived here since 1981, a bunch of children, several came back to Corpus Christi, and it just makes me proud to be a member of Corpus Christi.
That's great. Thank you so much. Yeah, good way to end the meeting. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Okay. That concludes our meeting, everyone. So, yeah, real nice. So next week we have 2 more. If you want to go out to that, that'll be District 4 at the Ethel Ireland on Monday. And then District 5 is going to be at the new OSO campus, the Del Mar OSO campus. And that's on, is that Wednesday? Wednesday. So 6 o'clock, same format. We'd love to see you out there. So come see us, and then we'll see you at City Council. Thank you.